Hey everyone, we're here with Matt. Matt runs IdleStar Productions out of Erie, Pennsylvania. They were responsible for the pre-show for PostFest. Let me tell you, we are currently PostFest Day 3, so Matt and I have been just here going at it this is our 4th day. We are all exhausted. We are happily exhausted. Man, I have to say, what a killer fucking pre-show.
Well, thank you. A lot of work went into it, and a lot of heart went into it. And I think all that hard work that we put in, the day of the show, we had to drive in about 6 hours from Erie to be here. And it's all just a huge payoff. Just looking around and seeing everybody that is part of this community just have one more chance to get together. One more chance to say hello to your friends, even if it's the start of the weekend. To us to see everybody just together and being part of our community for another day.
Yes. Yeah. God, I'm so glad that Hero Way was on that bill. Holy shit.
Yeah, they really blew me away. I mean, I don't think there was a bad band on the bill. The idea of it was, I've been coming to PostFest for 3 years, and it's a community I'm really passionate about, and I just really enjoy, my son and I come, and we're very well accepted here, and we really feel like we belong. And, the first year there was a small pre-show. Last year that was kind of missing. I felt that was like something that would be something put PostFest over the top as if we were. And everyone knows. And, Nathan, Derek, and Sean worked incredibly hard. Adding one more thing to their plate was, that's just unreasonable. They already got the world on their shoulders this weekend, and they knocked it out of the park. So that's where my company, IdleStar, comes in. We're like, well, look. So we booked up the venue last year. We had the date booked for the entire time. We have next year booked already, so we're already working on it. But, when we started curating the lineup, it was to put something on there for everybody, no matter what your definition of post-rock was. And Roe was one of those bands where they kind of fit exactly what we were looking for. Right now, they're a huge band in the moment. They just put out one of the best records of the year. They're really in their stride, and you just have the reaction of the crowd that shows them. And that's not to say anybody overshadowed it, because Preface, they're a brand new band. They approached me about playing because they wanted to be part of the community. Many of the members of that band were in the band Trenches, so it was kind of neat to get them on the bill for that sludgier post. And then Black Flag of the Nightmare Fighters, they just put out another contender for record of the year, in my opinion. Just great tracks, great band, great people. And, we just went right out down the line, like amplifiers,
Yeah, I know. I told Sai, I was like, dude, your fucking voice, like when you fucking are in it, it's so powerful.
Yeah, Sai has been a really good friend of mine for years, and I've been trying to drag him out to this thing. It's trying to get people to come to a new city, and this was, the pre-show was one of those things where I think they were the first band that was booked for the show, because I knew it would be a great spot for them. They kind of also been looking for is giving a new band a chance that might not be on the radar of Derek, Sean, and Nathan.
Yeah.
And I think they've made a lot of fans that night. And then obviously, Zeta coming in. I've been actually trying to book Zeta in Erie for a while, and it works out. But this was a great opportunity we got here. And, they got out of the fest, which was always our hope.
Sets, dude. Holy shit.
It is insane. I drove down to Pittsburgh to see him, and then I told him, hey, I booked you, and they were immediately faces lit up, so many positive things about PostFest. I can't wait to come. And I was checking yesterday with Juan. He said this is beyond expectation. So we just kind of put the lineup together for next year. We're rebranding it. It's actually going to be called Preface. And it's going to be a preamble to PostFest. What we're currently putting together, we have a couple bands booked for it.
Don't worry, Slayer is not one of them.
No, it is not. But we do have potential for a union of a band that has been broken up for 20 years. So there's a potential for something like that to occur. But it might be a surprise. We might not really announce if that happens. So until you might just show up, but you're going to see that. Yeah, it's going to be someone that you will definitely want to miss next year. But we're trying to put together a lineup of where we get some rookie bands, we get some bands that are alumni at PostFest. Like this year we had Black Flag, we had Renee, and get some newcomers, and then get somebody that didn't quite make the festival, like a Zeta or another headliner that wasn't quite here. And even, they might show up on the actual fest lineup too. But it's just a great time to showcase that. If you're in a band and you want to possibly jump on next year's pre-show, I will share my contact information on Instagram. So go ahead and send me a message. As we're curating this lineup, putting it together, we'll consider just about anybody. We're looking for bands that are putting out new music, that are trying to really push themselves and just try to listen to opportunity, get them in front of the crowd that will help them elevate. And really what it's all about, to me, why I do what I do, I spend 15-hour days on show days, putting everything together, because I think that music is really the most important thing in my life. I don't know where I'd be without it. No matter what's happened, I've been able to rely on music, and I think we're stronger when we get together. Because we can look around, because we can see our friends, we can make new friends, we can be together, and that's really what this is all about.
And we don't feel like outsiders, right? Like, because we're part of something. Like, I don't know about you, but I grew up always as the outsider.
Yeah, we're definitely weirdos. I think that's a good term for the members of your community.
Yeah.
It's like it's so hard to tell people that you get excited about a 9-minute instrumental jam. Like you're just sitting there like, oh, here comes the good part, and if someone's like, you're not into this style of music, doesn't really get it. So when we get together here, like, we all know, but it's like unspoken between us. And having that community and that sense of belonging, I don't think there's anything that compares to what we have here.
No, there's not. There is, I don't think at this level. Right? There's Legalized Lex in Lexington just did year 2 in April of their fest. And it's the same feeling, right? Now it's more in the stoner doom thing, but the sense of community and family it's there. You walk in there, there's to my knowledge, no issues. Everyone just kind of runs up and it's like, hey, I haven't seen you in a minute, hugs, how's it going? Hey, someone's having a hard time, they're too drunk, let's go help them get in a good spot, No kids running around because it's 21 plus. That might change, might not. I don't know. I don't do anything with that, but I think that's another cool thing about here is you bringing your son, us standing side stage watching Converge yesterday. He was just like, oh my God. Who wants to be a kid and be side stage for Converge? I would have fucking loved it.
He certainly loves the attention, and he also loves there's a lot of moments in his life so far that he might have understood the attitude of being in that moment. Over time, it becomes clear to him, this was something cool to do with your dad, connect over. And that familial thing is part of this. This place is friendly. Everybody, but a lot of people bring their children. They're playing and hanging out, and it's that next generation. And really, IdleStar itself, that's something that is really important to me, is that cultivate that next generation of music, because those kids are going to be the people that come in, and they're going to be the ones that are the ones starting bands. They're going to be the ones that see this going on, and they're going to pick up the torch someday and carry it forward after you and I are dead around, And they are the ones that are really inheriting this. So I think it's really important that we make this community, and it is a family-friendly place, because the children and kids are the next generation of everything. And even at IdleStar at home, when I started doing it, we didn't really have much of a scene to speak of, and now rebuilding our scene, I've gotten Erie in a conversation, noticed by touring routes, and we've gone from a D market to maybe a C market, and we're getting bands like Unearth, we're getting bands like Emery and things of that nature. So we're definitely headed in the right direction. But those are the sorts of things that get kids excited to go out and spend time with their friends. And you can do anything today. People can be on the internet, they can be on Instagram, they can be on TikTok. They don't have to leave to entertain themselves. Just coming down and slapping down $10 to go to a show, a local show, or a band that you like. You're competing with a lot of things. Especially if we crank the microscope down and get into a niche genre like post-rock. Really, it's really tough, because a lot of these bands that are playing this festival, like they're big bands in the genre, but you ask the average person. It's not like, people walk around with like a Hubris shirt on.
Or We Lost the Sea. Like, yeah.
You're not going to see it as often as like a Van Halen or like a Fall Out Boy or Imagine Dragons or whatever, But it's still important nonetheless, because that speaks to, the people that like it. And I think that being able to like be a part of building that and putting it together, even if it's just something small, taking that off the pre-show, off the plate of the PostFest crew, I think it was really well this year, and I think next year it's going to be even bigger. It's going to be a greater event. I've already got vendors. We're already talking about some more logistics to make it a little bit more of a must, a can't miss event.
That's super, super cool. Maybe Matt and I will work something out for a contest for Preface next year, but maybe. We're still a long ways off.
Yeah, we got some time, but I will tell you, one thing you can't expect is you can expect to come here and see your friends, make some new friends, and you can end up, having a great time. Like, I don't think that it's going to be possible to have a bad time at Preface next year.
No.
So you better be there. We're going to have some cool stuff. We're going to do another poster. This year's poster was drawn by Danny Wyatt from Zaya.
Yeah. I had to fucking buy one because it is cool as fuck.
It was based on a local legend of a guy named Rufus Cantrell. He was known as King of the Ghouls. Look it up. It's a really cool story. But we're going to find another cool thing and draw that up. It's just a little keepsake, and I'm a big poster guy. And every time I look at those posters of all the events I've been through, it just takes me back to those moments. Yeah. When I see this PostFest poster hanging on the wall, I'm going to remember, everything about it. I'm going to remember all my friends, all the hugs, all the high fives. Just all the just being together, just being a part of this community. That means the world to me.
Me too. The new friends that I've made. This is my first year, and Nason invited me to come and chat with people. Thank you, Nason. I've met so many new friends. I've seen people that I fucking know, which is fantastic, because I had no idea that they would be into, post rock or. Really anything that's fucking been here, because it's so, the styles are so eclectic, right? Singer-songwriter to converge, sludge, doom, like, this is the most eclectic set of bands that I've ever seen at a festival, and the fans are about every single one of them.
Yeah, I think that it's that whole umbrella. When you get in front of this crowd, like, they will give you a chance. They will let you come out here and do your thing, and whatever that thing is, if you just come and play and give it your all, like, you will walk away with some fans. You'll walk away with some people that are going to talk about your set and, it just bring you in with open arms. And there's a number of bands that I've discovered from the 3 years I've come to PostFest. Like Antlerhead is one of them. Ty, his friend, they were selling merch for another band today. But he's writes these incredible songs. I have a chance to bring that band to. I try to bring every band that I think is great here. Which is most of them,
Yeah.
I try to bring them into Erie if I can. There are people that really, those things. The Deftones, awesome. Yeah, there's people that are really interested in everything. You bring those bands in, like, people still talk. It's been about 2 years since Antlerhead came. People still talk to them about it, and it has to be bring them back, because they just write these incredible emotional songs that just make you feel something. It's an excellent songwriter. Every member of that band is just a great musician. And that's just awesome. The awesome things that come in here, I think about those guys. Their bass player plays a band called Delpax, and Buffalo. Like, I got that one here this year. I really listened to it non-stop for like a week. It was so good.
Wow.
And the trials themselves, like, knew him at Blissmas. We ended up just chatting up when he recognized me, and we had never met in person. Just seeing each other. I was wearing my PostFest hoodie. I was flying the flag when I got to events, just to see who I might run into. And that's just kind of the community we have. These bands like travel the United States, putting the shows and your own community, no matter where you're from. That helps keep it going for everybody. That helps build what you have here. You take that torch and you light a fire in your hometown. That's really what
But that's, that's the most important thing, right? For me, that's the most important thing is like buy the t-shirt, buy the poster, wear the t-shirt out. I was out there talking with someone yesterday and someone walks by with a Museum of Light shirt. I'm like, oh my God, dude, I love them. What a great band, that new album. He's like, man, I wore this just so someone would recognize it and go, yes, Museum of Light. And we stood there and chatted for like 15 minutes. Like, Andy, I got you, dude. Like, Museum of Light. Their fucking new album is fantastic. And Telepathy. There's so many great albums in the last there's so many great albums, period. But in the last year, I think, some of my favorite albums have really just come out and blasted.
Oh, 100%. One of the band I was really work with their booking agent a lot. Is not even Ryan Shoot. Shout out to Ryan if you ever watch this. He's a good friend. He's really supportive about everything I've done. He asked me to book this band with Steve Vaults, which they're a pretty big heavy hitter in the genre. But they put out a record last year, Shooting on the Boom. I think the closest thing I've had to religious experience at a show in a long time was they played a song called and I just was absolutely blown away by that song. I booked the show. I was in Las Vegas for when we were young, and I left Las Vegas at 5 a.m. Which then I flew to Pittsburgh, drove back maybe just a for a little bit. So I was really tired at that moment. It was amazing. And like that. If you find something that just speaks to you like that, it just it brings you into that moment. That's all there is. All exists is watching them play that song. It was that connection with the music and then just feeling it, and then bringing that band people to throw in from their show, with people from out of town, from in town, that show. Just put the turkey on the table for people to come and experience these bands and have those same feelings. This is just another reason why it matters to do this. It matters that you have Derek, Mason, and Sean took it upon themselves to do this, because the community that is formed around it, that has been quite wonderful. I would say even just the new friends that I've made this year alone, it's just exponential growth, and more and more people want to come, and the more and more people come, the more and more this community is going to grow. This fest is going to grow. It's going to be like this.
Seriously, I've spoke with bands from all over the world, and everyone that I've spoke to in the post-rock genre, what the one thing you want to do, where do you want to be? And they're like PostFest. Holy shit.
Yeah, and now they have a secondary outlet.
Yeah.
With the Preface they can play next year, So, just really, even though we're adjacent, we're not affiliated, but we are still part of the community, and we're doing something to help our community, and we're doing it out of just our love for it. Like I said, there's been so much given to me, and I don't think I'll ever be able to repay the debt of just what music has done, the communities I've belonged to. So in particular, really, I feel like I've got to do my best to, work that off, and I think I've done an okay job so far. Still have a lot of ways to go.
I'll tell you, dude, every time I've seen you, and I know we've only just met, but every time I've seen you since the pre-show, you've had nothing but a smile on your face, and the aura everything you put out is just hey, how you doing? This is great. Do it. Let's have fun.
Well, about 6 years ago, I actually had a heart attack and almost died. It kind of messes with you a little bit, because you're just why am I here? Why did I get a second chance? I didn't really know what that was, why I was, resurrected until I went to PostFest in 2021. And I just saw a lot of people I never thought I'd ever see again, and there was just so much love there. And that's where I really, grabbed the torch myself, this is now my purpose.
Yeah.
And I took that back to my community, and that's what I do in my community is I try to be that positive light and guidance, and just try to do my best and to make someone's day a little better. Like, we're only here for a short while. That's something you learn, when you have a brush with death, and you learn how fragile and finite things are. So, I just think it's great if you can just brighten someone's day, or you can just, be that friend they need in that moment. You never know what someone's going through. When someone's here, the last thing they want to do is think about their problems. And I think when you come here and you see that there's so much love in the air from every person that you run into and meet, that it's hard to not look at those problems you have and think, man, these don't really matter.
Right.
I know what matters is why we're here. But that was something that really changed me, and it really is why I am the way I am. I'm just trying to get back to the world the things that I wish I had seen.
That's fucking awesome. Like I think a common theme through my life is mental health and that sense of community, right? It's all of us weirdos being part of other weirdos. We are essentially all family, so we feel a part of something, we are less likely to have mental health issues than when we feel as an outsider. And it's to foster that. And for anyone to foster that in any way, to me, it's amazing.
Well, thank you for giving me an interview. We have to do all that we can. Some of us are the ones who put the shows together. Some of us are the ones that play the shows. Some of us are the ones that go to the shows. Some of us are the ones that support the bands. Some support each other. Without any of us, there's before a single note is played, none of this happens.
Yep.
And we're gonna have the roles that we play. Try to play my role the best I can, and give it everything I've got. And I know everybody else does too. I see Derek, Mason, and Sean running everywhere. They really are working, and it just comes out in this perfect weekend. Now there's an extra excuse for you to come to Indianapolis a little early next year, and get together with everybody and enjoy things. We're going to have your first crack of the beer again, early wristband, which was clutch this year. Pick up your wristband early. We're going to have vendors, the pedal vendors, and indie strength theory. They're going to be there, just get you notified to be part of this community. Who knows what's going to happen? We don't know. Even though the bill might be set, might be out there, there's going to be maybe a surprise or two that.
Well, like this year, Caven not being able to, make it. So things change. So Zeta got added to the festival. Holy shit. And those guys, like, every time I see them, they just, same thing, right? Like, they exude that energy that is just fun. It's positive, like, hey, we're here together. Let's fucking do this.
Yeah, great guy. Great guitar player. He's a great person. If you had the chance to speak with him, he's just he was so positive, and even if when it's negative situations like the one they're going through with Danny happened, he still is trying to find the beauty in the moment. I just got to really hand it to that. Remember that band, phenomenal human beings. I got turned on to that band. My buddy Doug from Rochester, he runs the Mug Jar. Doug, if you're seeing this,
shout out Doug.
He's on the got me into him, and he kind of is for the same cloth as all of us here, where you're just trying to do your part to keep music going, and just part of a network. I've actually been working on assembling a network of bands, venues, promoters, booking agents, anybody we could get that spans currently from Chicago all the way over to Philadelphia, Baltimore, down into West Virginia, and DC, and then up into New York as far as Albany. It's just this whole network of bands where we can put each other. We can really say, hey, there's a show, or my band's looking for a tour. We can be like, oh, if you want to go on tour, you play Rochester, you get Doug. You want to play here, you get Radical. And we just really want to help each other out. There's been some bands that aren't necessarily the post-rock genre, like Wolf Road, from Shadow, When the Sun Sets. Both those are pop punk bands. Those bands are well in that circuit, so we're just trying to put that together in a process genre. 3-1 bill. It will be like something that people will come with a quality experience, and as well as give the bands like that place they need to play, and exposure to
It's the beauty of like this is what like the DIY scene is, right? Connecting with other people to connect other people, right? Like it's all about the connections we can make and the ways we can help someone get to, take that next step, whatever it is. Because sometimes all they need to do is take that next step.
Yeah, you get in the van and go out there. I'll say, speaking of DIY community, in my community, we do have somewhat of a DIY community, but we only really have one venue. And it was booked up a lot, so I had to get creative to have shows. What I did is I got all the equipment I needed to basically throw a professional grade show. Like the lights, a really complete professional production, and I can do it in any room. As long as I can do it in like a fire hall, I can do it in a gymnasium, anywhere we can get a space. We worked with a great company called McCray. We did a 68 show there.
That was fun.
They tore the roof off the place, and I remember the other drummer did a drink that night called the Raspataz, and he said, yes, this would kick one that wants teeth, as the Raspataz would. Just like we were going to put that show together, that space to do it because of the production that we have. So that is taking a little step further. We literally had to build venues out of nothing, out of necessity and the scene. And now, a Centennial Hall, which has gotten this new venue that just opened. The owners are really cool. They've got some stuff planned, and it's just gonna make Erie even bigger, and help us grow our scene and draw in a lot of people maybe didn't feel like we could. So that's just kind of back to here, though. That put me in a good position to go to do a show in a whole other city. I never booked a show outside my hometown, but because of my experience in the DIY aspect of everything, I was able to pull it off.
I think you did a great job. Like there was a great crowd there. Obviously, bands were fucking fantastic. Like all freaking weekend.
Yeah, and that really set the tone for this weekend. I honestly think that everybody who was there, was so excited for what was to come. I would say this has been the best post ever. I don't know how much of a role the show played in that, but we know it's a quality product. But people have just been fans all weekend. I feel like we've all had our foot on the gas since Wednesday about 5 o'clock. It has been just so much more energy than. I think that next year it's gonna I don't know what those guys got planned. I know it's gonna be crazy awesome. Next year we're gonna do the same thing. It's gonna be the second. Get out of that car. The first notes played for the pre-show. It's just gonna be like blur the entire weekend. Just the coolest music, coolest times with friends, and just great. Like you circle this day on the calendar, it's kind of rejuvenating to your soul.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad. It's winding down, but the beauty of something. Sure. The journey of everything is the end, and that just means we got something more to look forward to next year.
It's true, 100%. My favorite thing about this festival is how eclectic it is and how it's challenged. I think listeners to what is good music, right? Like everything has been great from pre-show. I'm sure it'll be great until the end, right? Like A Place to Bury Strangers. Come on. But singer-songwriters, Converge? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, Curating's fucking starting? Holy shit. I'm out fucking swinging. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, they're really tight. They have a song, it's called Pissant. I was one of the first people to sing in the band to hear that song. That was just crazy awesome to hear. So I only have the experience of the willing to share that with me so they could get booked on the show. But I immediately knew this is a quality product. These guys know what they're doing. Of course they do. They're all professionals. They just knocked it out of the park and got us going. And every show I have, I always tell the first 2 bands that they are the most important bands in the bill.
Yeah.
Because if you guys don't come out swinging and throwing your fastball down the center of the plate, people aren't going to leave.
Disappointed, and they're going to shit. We've all been to those shows.
Go outside and smoke a cigarette. That's not what we want to show. We want your attention. You walk into that room and you hit the face of the 2x4 of us in the city. We really think Like, that's why I tell these bands whenever they're opening up, like, I don't want to think this is just an opening game. No. This moment in every show you play should be treated this way. It's the most important show you're going to play. You know, you want to give it everything you got. You never know who's going to be in the audience watching. You never know what it's going to lead to. I certainly don't think that most bands I've booked in Erie ever thought, like, me coming and seeing them play in Erie or somewhere else would lead to them playing in a city they'd probably never heard of.
Around this world is so fucking awesome.
It is. There truly is. You know, there's a lot of negative things in our world, but music is, like I said, no matter what happens, it's always there for us.
Yeah, music is the great unifier. And if everyone would get on board and be united and not divided by politics, religion, or whatever divisive bullshit that is going on, I think we'd be in such a better place.
I 100% agree with that. You know, I think that, you know, some politics and some religion are inevitable, but just understanding that at the end of the day, you know, all united by the fact we're all human beings just trying to figure out how to navigate this world and how to show compassion for each other. And music helps us connect to that compassion. I think, you know, as cliche as it is, Dave Grohl said, you know, you can sing a song to people and 70,000 people will sing it back to you.
70 reasons.
Yep, and that is one of the most true quotes. You know,
Yeah.
it's something that means something to every single person. You know, if you really aren't into music at the level where you have songs you really connect with, like, I think that's an essential part of the human experience that you're missing out on.
Absolutely. Okay. Holy shit.
Dude, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. Next year, we'll run it back. You know, we're going to go bigger. We're going to go better. And, you know, there's only one place to go. Like, you know, we got to crank it up to 11.
Hell yeah.
You know, and I hope to see everybody there.
Yeah, you all better be there. You might not because it's sold out this year.